So we are excited for today as we have an interesting update from our last week, being with a mastermind of top teams. What we have here are the biggest takeaways from the conference over the last week. Number one, the story is about affordability. I think you hear it in some of the headline messages that affordability is better, and we wanted to put that in context for you. Again, the numbers are what percent of the average person's income that they spend on principal and interest for homes. So the highest ever in recorded history was in 1981, where people were spending 49% of their income on principal and interest. For real estate agents, some of the best years ever around COVID, people were spending about 17%. It peaked in 2023. I know 2023, 2024 were hard for realtors at about 34%. And the headline message right now is that affordability is better. And what does that mean? It's about 32%. Again, still better, but still a long way off from COVID times.
Right. And realistically, right, Bob, we're not going back to affordability of COVID times anytime soon, if ever. But it is nice to see that it's edging downward.
Yes. And ultimately, part of the other thawing effect or the great thawing effect is that people didn't move for the last couple of years because they had really cheap mortgages. And right now, 49% of people have current mortgages above 4%. And what that means and what it should do is that most realtors and most organizations are predicting an increase in transactions in 2026 as the people who have delayed moves for life reasons, birth, death, divorce, jobs, or life catch up, that they should unlock or unthaw in 2026.
I want to jump in here just briefly. NAR is predicting the highest percentage of transactions at 14%. All of the predictors are predicting a positive number of transactions, which is nice to see. But the lowest predictor predicts it at 1.7%. So that's a 12% gap. What that means for you on the phone is that at worst case scenario, it's going to feel a lot like last year, only slightly better. And at best case scenario, you're seeing a 14% jump in your transactions.
And here's the big one. This is the big shift. This is our overarching, this is our unifying theme. This we think is the story of the decade, right? The shift and everything is about AI. What was fascinating about the mastermind and the conference in the last week is that a lot of speakers would get up on stage and say AI, AI, AI. But most realtors left the conference saying, I get it. You don't need to tell me again that it's big. You just have to show me how to use it. And so we're spending the back half of this presentation to show you the exact prompts and the exact tools that we recommend that you get started with.
Yep, because some people on this phone are a little bit like me and don't know how to reprogram the VCR. So, and then some of you on this call don't even know what a VCR is.
The one thing, again, headline message of why it's important. It came out about 18 hours ago. Some of you may have seen this. Jack Dorsey started Twitter, started Square, started Cash App, started Afterpay, has done really well. He came out and said his company Block, they're going to cut 40% of their staff. And they're going to cut 40% of the staff because they're only going to keep the most talented people who use AI, restructure the company around those people for AI to do the work. And ultimately, they believe within 12 months, most companies will do the same. Huge implication. We believe that that is the trend in the future, not only of real estate, but all industries. And more than anything, that's the theme and the tool set that we want to give you. But before we start that, we want to give you a couple of the headline messages of what's going on in Houston's market, and then we'll show you how to get it for yourself. The biggest one more than anything else is Houston's market is the most balanced in the last 6 years. And again, when you think about what that balance looks like, it means that it is better for buyers, right? Our active listings are up about 17% year over year. When you look in addition to more listings being up, as I know you feel it, is we're at 4.7 months of supply. Houston, that means is not only higher than it's been, but higher than the national average. So, right, it's better for buyers in Houston right now than the history or for other parts of the nation. And the median prices have not really started to fall yet. It's pretty steady.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your headline message of what's going on in Houston. Inventory growth, ultimately, what does that mean for your buyers, right? What do your buyers do with this? Is one, their expectation is that the number of days on market is about 66. That is the longest since about early 2020, right? Remember during the COVID times when COVID was just starting to be a news item. That means that buyers can take their time. Some of them should, some of them obviously you want to be able to help make decisions. Number two, again, with the new listing growth up 18%, that is especially in the under 500K range, there means that there's a lot more options, right? Your buyers that go ahead.
Yeah, which is great for most of Houston, because what we have seen in the COVID years is we lost so much of that inventory, and that locked out first-time home buyers. This now gives an opportunity for first-time home buyers to show back up who've been sitting in apartments for the last 3 years.
And in addition, there are hotspots of where houses are moving, hotspots of where houses are sitting. And that's ultimately what you want to be able to offer that data to your clients to be able to help win. When we look through the pricing intelligence and you look through this structure of home prices, there's a couple key things to know. One, again, median home prices, it dipped by 0.9%. That basically means, home prices haven't changed.
Right.
That's again stability, not decline. So entry levels are benefit that decline the most. But again, we're not really changing prices yet, despite all the fear of gloom and doom of, oh my gosh, the market's going to crash. Number two, average prices are up almost 3%. And you're like, well, what's the difference on that? Average prices are driven by the luxury segment. Because the stock market has been on a great tear in the last 5 years, the people at the top of the economic scale feel better and they feel wealthier, so they can put more money into buying homes. Again, that means you're typically the average home, is skewed by the luxury angle. The other one that's really interesting, and I know a lot of you are doing a great job with your clients, on the buy side, your sold versus list price gap, which means, again, the median list price is 330, the median sold price is 315. So on average, people are getting about 5% off. And lastly, lower monthly payment. Again, as we go back to affordability, some of the headline again, yay, it's far more affordable. As you put it in context, it's about $160 a month. And again, $160 a month is better than $0 a month, but it's $160 a month.
But
very
it's still,
different than how we had.
But there are glimmers here. I think that's the benefit of this, is we are seeing some green shoots in affordability. And with interest rates just announced that they are just under 6%, that could open up some opportunities here. I will warn you all is that just because interest rates lowered today or yesterday, it does not mean that every buyer is like, oh my gosh, they're low, I'm buying right now. It usually takes about 6 months for this kind of message to permeate throughout the market and start to change consumer behavior.
The net takeaway of all of this so far is expect the market to be about the same with slightly better affordability and slightly more transactions, but it's again pretty darn consistent to 2024 and 2025. Ultimately, when you look at neighborhoods, this is where things are different. Areas like the Heights and Montrose have had, again, moderate price changes, growth, ultimately targets for a lot of upscale first-time buyers, right? It's pretty steady demand, but again, more rise in inventory. For places in the suburbs like Katy and Cypress, new construction, great deals, huge value, massive increase in parts of inventory, again, predominantly driven by new construction and new construction deals.
And if you actually looked at a map of where new construction sales are happening, you will see that it tracks largely with this, as well as further over on the east side, including areas like Crosby, which is a new development.
That's exactly right. And so again, for your buyers who want great value and great deals, right now, new construction builders have been willing to price in accordance with where the market is and is going more than traditional resale. And then also pockets of luxury, especially in certain neighborhoods and niches where you have an upscale market. It is active and it has been selling, but again, a little bit longer market times. The woodlands and the woodland areas specifically have been benefiting from big oil companies because firms like Exxon, for example, have had their share price increase by almost 50% in the last 6 months. And so that helps the wealth effect of people at the top.
And
And so
also, Bob, this time of year is where relocation buyers who are moving from around the world back to Houston to start their jobs in Q1, that's why you will see a pop of relocation buyers this time of year.
it's a really good tip. One of the things on buyers, specifically, again, a couple years ago, it was frenzy. Now there is more patience. Specifically, and again, except at the luxury level, in the most desirable neighborhoods, you're also seeing lots of multiple offers and competitive situations, great houses, great neighborhoods, great schools, beautiful properties, still frenzy. But ultimately, your tip is how do you keep it simple? And what that means is right now, buyers do have more time to decide. They do have more time for inspections, and they do have times to be able to negotiate without a level of fear and panic in many areas. Also, again, when you look at affordability is improving, again, headline messages are coming out, but interest rates, they're pretty darn consistent. Better, but relatively consistent, not anything like 2021 or 2022. And again, we're seeing a movement of interest in renters becoming buyers. The difficulty again is with affordability still tight. How do you make sure that you're helping renters diligence that they're going to be spending about a third of their income on just principal and interest?
Bob, I like to call this the FOMO slide. And what I mean by that is that you all remember in COVID when you had buyers and they had such FOMO over, oh my gosh, I have to have this house. There will never be another house just like this. And there was this panic around that. Now you have a different kind of FOMO. You have the FOMO of, well, maybe there'll be a better one next week, right? Either way, you're dealing with the same type of sentiment. Your job is to help them much like you did in COVID. I know many of you on this call did this when that buyer said, I will pay anything for that house. And you say, well, it's only worth 300,000. That's okay. I will pay $1 million. And you talk them off that ledge. The flip side is to do a similar process by providing care and candor to help these buyers understand what the market is. One of the tips I can give you all is that specifically consider, instead of showing 60 and 70 and 80 houses that all look the same to that buyer because they are thinking that there may be a better one next week, show houses in 5 houses block. Only show 5 houses at an outing. Have them rank those at the end of the time, and then have a very clear dialogue. If their answer is none of these are what I'm interested in, is Mr. Buyer, what is it that you're hoping to see that we have not seen yet? And have that conversation so you can get them to achieve their outcome. I'll tell one more story on this and then I'll be done. I promise, Bob. I was the queen of showing all the houses to a buyer, and I think the review was like, she was so kind and patient. She showed us over 200 homes. And that is true. And they loved me because I showed them 200 homes. We ended up with a home that was very similar to something we saw in the first 3 months. And had I had the discipline and skill set to be able to say, what are we hoping to see that we're not finding? And having reset conversations along the way, I would have not only saved them time, I actually would have helped them gain money because what they missed out on was a year of appreciation.
It's a great comment. Great feedback. As you look at that, again, tactical suggestions that we suggest that you use in your 2026 to not only win the spring, but win the year. And again, you're going to say that they're simple, but it's the simple things that are most effective. Number one, mindset. And this comes right from Sibel on our team. Says that she has this on her board and has been incredibly successful with that, right? The question, who can I help today? You're in a helping profession. Most of you became realtors because you wanted to be able to go and add value to someone's life. Choose the opportunity to have that mindset every single day. It makes the entire rest of the journey easier. Number two, recognize again, you have to find the motivated. Not everybody is moving. The world is not going to be like it was in 2021 or 2022. And so your question is, How do you find people who have a life event? Birth, death, job, divorce, job change, something going on in their life, and specifically get in front of them.
Can I add a story here, Bob? Uh,
Please.
because I've lived this, and I know that there's several of you on the call who have lived this. Um, I stayed in touch. I sold a house, stayed in touch with them, every 3 months after their transaction for 4 years. They pop up in one of my calls. They're pregnant. Oh, that's great. I'm so excited for you guys. And they said, and we're not going to be thinking about a move or anything for at least 2 years. Great. 2 years. Fantastic. I got busy and I forgot to stay in touch. 6 months goes by. They have now had the baby and are working with another agent and bought a house 3 months after that. So I was on a 2 year cycle thinking that I had 2 years and I had less than 9 months. When someone tells you about a life event, take that opportunity to say, how can I help you today prepare for your future? And if you use that mindset, you will not miss the opportunities that lie in front of you because most people, when they set out a timeline, it is actually sooner.
And this is the perfect item for number three, is in those items, you want to develop a program every 14 to 28 days where you add value. Brad, you asked a great question this morning. You're again like, how do I stay in touch with these people where they first said no and then they said maybe, but again, it doesn't feel like anything that is immediate. Your item is what are you able to think about, right? What's something that you can send that adds value? And in that it is, right, what's going on in their life event. And specifically, again, if they've got a new baby and you're a mom or a dad and you can give them advice on the biggest tips that you had, that's a touch point of value add. If they've gone through a job change and they're moved to a new location and you're able to send them information on great restaurants, that's a value add. It doesn't need to be real estate, but you have to stay consistent.
That's right. If you think of yourself as a community builder and not as I only get the privilege of talking to you about homes, and you will have that mind switch, that will change how you interact with your clients.
And we're going to show you in just a minute how you're able to find value add touch points for any of your clients. Also, again, same thing that we've talked about for a lot. Again, it's confidence and care. Specifically, when you think of buyers, right, the market is normal, right? What we saw in 2021, 22, 23, it's not normal. And so again, you're reducing the anxiety. For sellers, you've got to have honest conversations, right? Most people hate having hard conversations. Oh, another realtor may lie to them. Hey, oh, well, that they really want this price. Oh, they don't think they have to fix their house and somebody's going to take it in that condition. You have to be honest about the data. You have to be honest about what's going through. And those honest conversations allow you to be able to really help them.
And guys, for those of you who really don't like confrontation or high eyes and really don't like having the conversation, it is totally appropriate for you to express that to them. Mr. Seller, I'm going to tell you something that I'm very uncomfortable sharing, but if I don't share it with you, I'm doing you a disservice, right? Lay it out there. Put it out there in front that you're about to have a hard conversation, and that alone will open them up to be more receptive.
Love it. And again, your big one is time in the market beats time in the market. And so again, the compound value of long-term ownership wins, long-term wins. And so even though this year, maybe some crazy news cycles, next year, the year before, time in the market as an owner beats throwing your money away on rent.
Yeah, I mean, back to the story that I told first, I lost my client 4% of appreciation because I did not have more strategic conversations and I didn't do my job guiding them.
When you think about that, again, two very quick case studies. One in Cyprus. Our agent did a brilliant job. He was honest. Honest meant, hey, it sat there. I know you wanted this aspirational price. I know your neighbor told you that you could get it. Hey, I know you didn't think you had to fix it up. Here's real data. You can't ignore it. Price adjustment, it sold within 2 weeks of the price adjustment. Going back to a lot of the properties that you have that are listing, giving them new data, giving them a new tool, makes it easier for you, makes it easier for them, and ultimately you add a lot of value because these are people that wanted to move. The other thing that's a huge, huge win is private per seller. One of our agents, Holly, did a brilliant job. Conversation with the client. What matters most to you? Yeah, I want some money, but I also want to optimize the way that I sell because we've got a baby and I don't want distractions. PPS, great photos, sold at 100% of list price before going on the market.
Now,
Seller got ideal terms.
that's exactly right. And I would say that the clarity here is the seller got the terms that they wanted, which was no hassle and the timeline that worked for them. They didn't care about money. We had a very clear conversation with them that if they wanted to maximize the value of the home and money was a priority, then absolutely private per seller is not the way to go.
And so here's how, as you wrap that up, here's your takeaway. Know the data, use the data, but here's your key. Use AI to get you the data. Use AI to get you the win strategy. Use AI to give you the communication plan with your clients. And I know some of you are, but hopefully what we're about to show you is going to give a few of you a couple better tips of what's new in the last 30 days.
Yeah, because that would be my first question is, well, how do you use AI to do this? And I think it's going to be really fun. And what's also fascinating, because he's going to show you this lifetime of how quickly you can get the information that would take you hours and hours and hours to research on your own.
So again, this is a hard page. Every month they put out market data. You're like, yeah, but Bob, it's long. Yeah, but Bob, it's not personalized. Here's one of the new things that Google has done with Chrome. There is a new button in the upper right-hand corner called Browse with AI. In some cases, it's just called Gemini. We have moved, and I'm a huge Mac fan. iPhone, Mac, everything. You've been using Safari. This feature that I'm about to show you has made me move from Safari to Chrome. This is brand new. And so when you click this button, it gives you a little assistant on any page that you have. Again, real tip for realtors is use that little button. You got to log in, and again, use Browse with AI. And so here's an example of how you can do this. You're on the HAR page and you're like, oh, there's lots of words, there's lots of graph, there's lots of numbers. And so you just type in something simple, like summarize this page. AI is going to come back for you and it's going to give you an overview. And if you're like most realtors, it's going to give you, again, something that's shorter, but you're going to be like, this is too long and confusing. Shorten, right? Just tell it that. And so again, you're like, oh, okay. So big numbers. Sales, slightly dipped. Median price, about the same. Inventory's up. Got it. Okay, I can read 7 bullet points. But those 7 points don't actually tell me what I need for one of my clients. So I can say, how do I use this data to talk to a first-time home buyer about the benefit of buying now? And so again, you're moving from give me information to what do I do with it? And so in this situation, it says to help a first-time buyer, you should pivot the conversation from time in the bottom to leveraging the balanced market that we're in. But
I
again,
like that. That's smart. Instead of timing the bottom, leveraging the market you're in, because that's exactly what the right thing that you're trying to help them do.
and again, like many realtors who don't read, you're like, oh, this is long, right? I've got to read 3 bullet points. I don't want to do that. And say again, give me a text message I can send to start a conversation and get an appointment. Because you know that if you're there in person, you're able to do that. And so it gives you, right, 3 options. Hey, John, just saw the latest market update. Payments for a medium home are actually $160 cheaper than they were a year ago because of the current rates. Would you be free for 15 minutes on day and time to see how that changes your budget? It's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Number 2, hey, John, market data just came in. Inventory's up. Homes are sitting for a little bit longer. Sellers are finally willing to negotiate. I'd love to show you how we can use this. Do you have time for a quick chat on day? Also pretty good.
Yeah, a little salesy, but not bad.
And say the next one is, I have a seller who is not willing to reduce their price. How do I use this data to get a price reduction conversation? And again, notice the advantage of this with Gemini built into Chrome. You are on Pages, any page on the website, any of your emails, anything, and you are able to ask it very simple questions about the outcome you want, and it will use the data to give you the answer. And so, right, same thing. To move a seller toward a price reduction, here's the date, here's a talk track. We're currently at so many days on market. Average home is taking 66 days to sell. Right, we're at 90, it's 66 days. When we cross that average, buyers stop seeing your home as a new opportunity and start seeing it as a problem. Price adjustment now prevents us becoming a stale listing that everyone ignores. Pretty good. Okay, same thing.
And also accurate. That's also accurate.
What's a text message I can send to get a time to review a price reduction with them? Right? Notice again, we're just playing with the prompts and we're just asking AI questions. Throws back. Hey, John, new market report just came out, right? New. Inventory's up 15.7%. There's now 4.7 months of supply. Buyers have a lot more choices. Do you have 10 minutes today to look and see how we can stay ahead of the competition? Pretty good. Just jump into the third one. Hey, John, pending sales are actually up 8.5%. So right now people are buying. They just aren't choosing our price point. I have some ideas on how to capture that traffic before the spring rush. Are you free for a quick call at 3 o'clock? Pretty good. Paige, anything yet before I move on to the next tool?
Can I ask a prompt?
Please.
How do I respond to a seller when they tell me, quote, I don't want to give it away? Because nobody on this call has ever heard those.
I love that. That's, again, a really simple. When a seller says they don't want to give it away, they're usually feeling defensive about their home's value.
Mm-hmm.
Validate, then pivot. I completely understand. You put a lot into the home and the goal is never to give it away. My job is to make sure we don't give it away. I give away the time and momentum we have left before the listing becomes stale. Good pivot.
Pretty good.
Our homes are now sitting on the market for an average of 66 days. In this market, the first 30 days are our golden window. Right now, the average is 66. Once we pass the mark, buyers assume we are desperate and start sending lowball offers.
All true.
If we were the only house in the block, we could wait for your price, but with inventory up 17%, buyers have more choices than they've had in years. They aren't looking for a deal as much as they're looking for fair market opportunity compared to the 10 other homes they toured.
Ooh.
If we wait 3 months and you have to drop the price, we've given away 3 months of mortgage payments. Great question. Notice the prompt. Would you like me to draft a formal market update email that you can send?
Why, yes, I would.
Why, yes, I would. I would love you to do my work for me. And notice again, this makes it really easy that you can copy and paste this. Or if you're using your email, you can have this put it right in there and it gives the highlights. The other thing that you have is, again, we've broken down the market update for every area. So as example, 1960 in Cypress. You click your little widget and you say, summarize the market in this area. And so it'll take the data for any geo market in town and it'll summarize what's actually going on to combine with the Houston data. And so you can do the same thing. Summarize, give me a text I can send to my seller in 1960 Cypress who doesn't want to, quote unquote, give away their house, but needs to sell. Simple, right? Tell it what you want to do. Reality text message. I completely hear you. I'm not wanting to give away the house. You put a lot into it. I just pulled the latest data, wanted to share why things feel slower. Gives you the data. Are you open to a quick strategy call this afternoon?
Great.
Great idea. This is, and the thing that we're offering is at our upcoming broker open houses, we can help you get your phone and your computer set up so you have the ability to start using AI in the way that is most advantageous for realtors.
Mm-hmm.
We also, as we end, we have 2 other tips for you that we have been playing with because new AI tools are exploding. We hadn't seen these more than 30 days ago in Houston, but we are experimenting with them and we can give you an update on how great they are in 30 days or if there's a new one. but we wanted to share things that may save you time. Number one, thanks to Gabby and our team, she found Click Contracts. It's new for the HAR MLS. In 5 minutes on your phone, you can put in the MLS, you can answer some questions, and it'll automatically draft your contracts for you.
That's pretty incredible.
Pretty
Because, right,
incredible.
our value is not filling out forms.
Our
Our
value
value
is
is in having candid conversations to help our clients make wise decisions. Nowhere in their statement does it say fill out forms is what we do best.
Thank you, Gabby, for finding this.
Awesome.
And our team right now is evaluating it against anything better, but so far we've gotten a big thumbs up. And again, it's newer to Houston. Number two, big thing. Again, we may be the only agents that have this, but sometimes emails back up. And so we've got
What? You mean sometimes the email boxes become overrun with crazy things that I didn't intend to be there?
It's exactly, and sometimes we lose clients because we're not fast enough to get back to them. And so we have a team that's been working on emails. We're trying this new tool that would allow an automated inbox management. And the opportunity here is this is something, and again, these subscriptions are pretty cheap, $20, $30, where these new AI tools are coming out. So if we can be a resource for you, for your phone, for your computer on how to use AI, this is our shift. This is what we believe at the Houston Properties team and the Real Edge Network that's coming. And we want to be ahead of it, stay ahead of it, and give realtors the best tools possible to make more money and cut their costs.
Well, and also, Bob, can we also say that these are the tools that give you a life back, right? Instead of spending an hour in the morning combing through your emails trying to find what you need and putting together an offer, if you can use tools that allow you to do your job quicker and faster, you actually might make your son's baseball practice or swim practice or whatever you're trying to accomplish to have the life that you want to live instead of just being a slave to the job.
Watch our Instagram, watch our social media. We'll be putting out more tools and where we are to be able to help you with this because we think that AI is the big shift. And ultimately, we want to help agents stay ahead of it.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Good Day.